This actually fits in with the garage satsang, the coffee satsang. I'm right behind a laundromat. Yeah. I can feel the steam coming out from behind me.
Don't get steamed.
It's a long process. Hey, yeah, anybody have any question or anything? No? No. All right.
I have a question. I have a comment.
Who's this? Saraswati?
Yeah, it's Saraswati again.
Saraswati, you have only 2 more comments or questions left for this year. So just
All
use
right,
it
well,
while.
then I'm gonna reserve them and then choose more wisely. I'm gonna go. I'll do it next time, Paul.
No, you can give it. Oh, yes. Throw it out here. Yeah, throw it out.
I was just gonna share just because I haven't heard another person share this way, but you know, I find myself like, well, we've talked about chanting. You know, I chant. You know, it's something I do as a practice, and we talk about seeking and practicing and seeking and practicing, and I kind of find myself in practices away from seeking, like that aren't really I don't feel they're connected to seeking, but actually feel like they help move me, like I'm on a bridge between the self and the infinite, and they help maybe move me a little bit in the direction of the infinite. I feel that way about them as opposed to trying to achieve something. So I just wanted to speak to that.
Yes, the whole point is just because you're chanting, it's not, the translation is not always your chanting. Yeah. Did you hear that?
Yeah, absolutely. Or asana or any of the things.
But in the mechanical reaction, you're the one that's chanting. So without knowing that, the chanting will be used to support or reinforce the chanter, so to speak. We're just giving out warnings, yeah? Because some people are going to chant, some people are going to sing, some people are going to dance. This isn't about not dancing or singing or chanting. Just have a simple understanding. The claiming of the chanting, the singing, the dancing is not done by you. It's mechanical.
Yeah.
It's a mechanical mental action. Yeah. Now, it will happen if you don't chant, it will claim you're the one that's not the chanter. Yeah. So it's just that many of us entered these things and they call them practices without this understanding. And while we were doing something, as Ramana said, what we were doing that we thought was going to further something was reinforcing the something we wanted to be weaker. Yeah.
Yes.
It's just simple. So if you're at a point where chanting is chanting and chanting, great. We're just
it's more like
because if you subtly feel that it's you that's chanting and maybe you should stop chanting, that's what we're pointing out as not you. Yes, that's simple.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
Yes, it's just a typical, this warning isn't personal.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like, hey, without you knowing it, you're playing the role of a hole puncher. You're going to keep punching holes. Yeah. Yeah. Now, does that make you, if the thing keeps punching holes, are you the hole puncher? No. But what happens is usually when there's punching holes, there's a claiming of that, and you're presented as the hole puncher. And as you're doing all the punching of holes, it keeps using the punching of holes to reinforce you're the hole puncher. That's all. This is a mechanical activity. If you don't see it, you're going to be looking from it. Yeah. So you're going to be looking from the chanting as the chanter. Yeah. And therefore, this is self-explanatory if you recognize that. Yeah.
What my experience is more like the chant comes through me at times, and I
Right.
do feel like I'm being chanted rather than I'm doing the chanting. That's, I think, what I feel, where I connect to, finger quote practices. I don't, not so much am I connecting with the seeking and the getting and the claiming. It's more of a noticing that, oh, I'm doing this thing that's bringing me more peace.
But the point is, in a real way, honey, you're not doing the thing that's bringing you more peace.
Yeah, I think it's doing me. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's not doing, there's no you to be done to. There's doing, it's doing something.
Something's coming through.
Yes, but you're not that which it's coming through. But something
Correct.
is coming through, yes.
I'm the coming through.
Well, you don't have to say that or not. It doesn't matter. But you're not that which is it's coming through. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
So any noun, any claiming of someone that is doing the action and is not of the action is not us. And many of us walked in unbeknownst about this mechanical activity, and what we did was use to reinforce the doer of it, not relieve us of the sense of being the doer. Yeah. As explained by Ramana Maharshi. And so this is just a warning. We're not talking to anyone personally that you're doing it or not doing it. We're talking about a simple mental reaction to what happens that's quicker than almost any other reaction. And that reaction is to claim whatever's happening, chanting or not chanting, to be that there's someone that's chanting or not chanting. That's all. If you don't see that, the chanting may not be just chanting. It may be being used by the head to reinforce the chanter. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then now you get bonded by the chanting as the chanter, and then you have some fucking attitude and outlook that you're a great chanter or whatever, and so on and so forth. Yeah. And so this isn't about chanting is going to produce this. It's not knowing that chanting is being claimed will probably produce it. Yes. The not knowing that the chanting is being claimed before you even become conscious of where and what you seem to be, then if you're not seeing that, you'll be, I humbly believe you'll be looking from it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's just like when I read about meditation or whatever, I read an article or something. Then the first day I was going to go to a meditation thing, as my ass was moving to the cushion, the head has me as a meditator already. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so every act of meditating in that hour was being claimed and harvested to start to reinforce this idea of being a meditator that will have complexes and personality and self-esteem about being a meditator as it still had as a student or anything else. Yes. So this claiming sets off triggers a lot of stuff. And it's almost as if you suddenly become a magnet and these things are like iron filings and then you just attract them. Yes. Yes. You must have seen chanting producing a sense of being the chanter in that world. I did. And I
Yeah.
wasn't even in the world of kirtan. I
Yeah.
skipped through it. It was fucking flamboyantly going on. Yeah. So this isn't you are the only one who did it, or you're going to be the only one who doesn't do it. You have never done it. Yes, that's the good news. But
Yeah.
something is doing it, implying it's you. That's what's going on. I mean, and it's faster than any chanting. If you try to chant yourself out of the chanter, that chanting yourself out of the chanter is reinforcing the chanter. You don't want to see that? It's obvious. Yes.
Fair enough.
Yes. Just check it out. Don't believe me. Look in your own experience. Yeah. It's just like I ran into the same thing a lot. In Canada, we had a lot of people that would come that were ayahuascans, whatever you want to call them. Ayahuascans? It sounds like close to fucking Nebraska or something. Ayahuascans. And they would come to the talks and you know, I would say, hey, this whole little stick, and then they'd come up to me and they heard the message in a way, because all these events they went through, they still thought they were the one that went through it. Yeah. So after they came down from the mountain of ayahuasca, they were the one that was on the mountain of ayahuasca. Yeah. And they would keep doing trips and they'd keep coming down from the mountain as the one who did the trip. This I felt was it was sorely being missed in that community. Yeah. They just added another like attraction to the Paul Hedderman amusement park, so to speak. You know what I mean? It's just like, I see that as the bondage. I don't see that you didn't do something or you did too much of something, the bondage. I see it as the bondage of being the doer of whatever, or the non-doer of whatever. That to me, that is where I was brought to and where I was stopped. I haven't moved from this point, because whatever was talking through this, told this, don't move from this point, because if you do, you're going to be looking from it instead of seeing it. Yeah. And it's borne itself out over 20 something, 30 years of inviting people. When I went to the outside spiritual groups, the same thing was going on. Yeah. There was a constant claiming of whatever when their shoulder rubbed against something, they were the one who rubbed against something. When there was an avalanche of grace, they were the one that was under the avalanche of grace. Yeah. When they called me and said they disappeared, they were the one calling me and telling me they disappeared for a few weeks. Yeah. You don't see it. It's just like, I'm a missing person. Who's reporting the missing person? Yeah. Or I don't see anyone as a body. Why would you say that if you don't see anyone as a body? You must be seeing people as a body to say, I don't see you as a body. If you didn't see people as a body, you never say a fucking thing. Yeah. But listen, I'm talking right to you, the body. I don't see you as a body. I don't know. I just feel like you get caught in the Chinese thumb torture. Yeah. Yeah. So these are just warnings. This is what I learned. I went to satsang without a healthy dose of warnings. And what happened in every other path or invitation I've ever entertained, the same dynamic occurred. There was an owning of it and da 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 da. And the owning of it neuters the message to some extent. It just does. Yeah. So this was my little seed assignment, like Paul Revere. I'm sure a lot of people were sleeping when Paul Revere ran down the road yelling, you know, the British are coming or something. And they were probably fucking Paul Revere underneath their breath. Yeah. But hey, Paul Revere he saw something and he was telling people. Yeah. I saw something innocently going to satsangs, and I'm telling people who go to satsangs. Yeah. That there's something else afoot. While you're thinking you're hearing the message, something else is claiming the message. Yeah. And I believe the claiming of the message is faster than the hearing of the message. Actually, not as the hearing, but as the hearer of the message. Yeah. The hearing gets claimed, and now you're the hearer. That's not hearing. Yeah. And I put that shoe on and it fit. If it doesn't fit, keep going to the shoe store you like. Yeah. Sooner or later, I have great faith in this message. I humbly believe you cannot get out of an imaginary thing or place. Yeah. So try away. It will be the greatest convincer, the failing to escape. Yeah. And I've seen people dress up and have names and more names and shit like that. They're not going anywhere. Yeah. Yeah. So to me, this is dog shit awareness. I like other streets. I do. It's great. Yeah. But I found a home at dog shit awareness. Yeah. It just works. And I just admitted the impossibility of me getting before that which I'm after. Yeah. I just don't see it happening. Maybe someone has done it. Maybe I remember there was a person who was a teacher, and who knows, maybe it was true or not, but he took on the role of being the personal embodiment of impersonal presence. Yeah. That's a heavy fucking cross to bear. And there he was. And then the funny thing is, he used to have a lot of processions, you know, being carried on a paladin, conch shells. He was into the dramatic, and then suddenly he just had a heart attack and dropped dead. Now you would have thought if he was the super aware embodiment, he would have known his heart was going to stop in about 5 more things, call everyone up and make sure there was a festival. But no, he seemed to be as surprised as anyone else. He dropped dead. I just, you know, I just don't yeah, whatever. I don't want to advance here. I'm not trying to become a super something. Yeah. I mean, look at what happened with our heads. Almost every movie's a Marvel comic fucking thing. Yeah. I mean, we must feel like we're living such a boring life. We have to just go to superhero movies and shit where they're destroying the universe because you just got slapped in the face at work and didn't do anything about it. You know what I mean? It's just insane. So, yeah, I'm not speaking obviously to Saraswati. That was happening. You know, when I answer a question, it's not to no one. I have never remembered anyone who asked me a question pretty much. It's just I just riff on something because it triggers something that I want to get across. Just because you think everything is spiritual doesn't mean I'm spiritual. I just don't have it in me anymore. Yeah. But if I go into kirtan, it's less than half a second and I feel the ecstasy or the bliss. Yeah. And thank God, because I don't believe the claiming. I just see it as claiming. It's only in the mental court that its little ownership or property, paper has any value. Yeah. It can claim as much as it wants. Nothing freaking happens. Only if there's a belief or a state of without knowing it. And I humbly believe a lot of us have been in a state of not knowing this mechanical activity was going on. And if we came to know the activity was going on, we still believed we were doing it. Yeah. And therefore, if you see something that you don't like and you're powerless, you're going to try not to see it. Yeah. The head, if it gets another message that I'm doing some fucking horrendous shit, I had no idea, I'm just going to have a drink. I'm just going to try to ignore it or distract myself from that point. Do you see the cognitive dissonance of it all? Yeah. So if chanting's working, chant the hell out of it. Yeah. If not chanting's working, don't chant the hell out of it. This is the whole point. The traveling lighter is through chanting or not chanting. It's through doing something or not doing something. It's a basis that's not produced because you did something or didn't do something. It's before the doing and the not doing. Yeah. It's readily available, chant or no. Yeah. What happens if you can't chant? Sometimes these little things become requirements and they become essential. And then thousands of miles are made in your head. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. I love this message because it doesn't answer the appearance of the trick. It explains the magic of it. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. This is something that for the people in recovery and anyone anyway. There was a sentence that's very important in recovery. And when I read it when I first came in, it sounded like it was very, very important. And it was a simple statement. It says, you got to quit playing God. Yeah. And then the reason it doesn't work. Now, without knowing it, a manufactured way of responding or reacting to things got triggered, which is I now have to stop playing God. Because the assumption was I was the one that was playing God at the great expense of God. I mean, what an incredible, that's a bigger mortal sin than the original sin. Yeah. So now I have to quit playing God, which seems very fucking difficult to do because I'm actually not playing God. Yeah. It's just, you know, I got to quit singing. I stopped singing and something's still singing. So but obviously I wasn't the thing that was singing. Yeah. That was the geek. That was the key in my life. A mental defined logic or wisdom brought me somewhere, but it didn't bring me there. It didn't. Yeah. I had more vast orders that I was going to be more powerless to fulfill. Yeah. And then I got the solution beautifully presented in a simple, compact understanding of not to. Yeah. It just worked. And then I saw, I am not that which has defeated me. Yeah. There's something else that I think I made to be myself was made by the mental activity. I didn't do it. I am as free from that as the pure driven snow. Yeah. None, no, not one mark has landed and left a fucking tattoo on it. Hallelujah. Just like if you were a child. And I think some people respect. Jesus said, it's like being not childish, but childlike. Yeah. When I was a young kid, I didn't have guilt. You were shitting in your pants, fucking doing tons of stuff. You couldn't tell by your face. You just shit. There was no reaction. I shouldn't have done that, or oops. No. Yeah. All of that was generated as the brain developed. Yeah. And now we find ourselves relying on the brain. As the Course in Miracles says, the brain interprets to the body of which it is a part. There you go. You don't need 800 pages of why. The Course in Miracles just dropped it on you in one sentence. And it says, it gives it a huge importance, which is this you should know. Wow. So the Course doesn't point that out all the time. It doesn't use that a lot. It uses it at special points where it says, this you should know, or surely this wouldn't be happening if you just understood that you are vision, not a view, that you are the awareness, not the one that wants to become aware. Yeah. Yeah. And even in the big book of recovery, he basically says, if you had some sanity concerning the insanity that precedes the first drink, all this shit we're talking about would that be academic. You wouldn't be drinking. You wouldn't need to know all this stuff. Yeah. But it's because of something that it's important. And this something is the quickness of the process that claims whatever life is and makes it about us, and us that we're not. Yeah. And that us is an I, and then it's a special I called me. It's hard enough to get through the I. To get to the me is almost fucking impossible. They're just, it's they're excommunicado, so to speak. Whatever's happening to you doesn't apply because it's me. Whatever, all the mistakes you make can't be applied because it's me. Yeah. You fail, which would show me with great value that I failed. No, me, I will not fail. On and on and on and on. There's no difference between I or me, but there is a huge difference between I and me. Yeah. So that's the whole point of this. Yeah. This isn't a meditation is a beautiful thing. To sit quietly is a beautiful thing. But how many people sat quietly and without knowing it, the head had claimed it already and made you a noun? Yeah. I bet you if you got honest with yourself, you would see that robbery was done before you even knew it. Yeah. And then you went out practicing and practicing, and you were wondering why it wasn't working. And of course, it had to do with you. So more self-centeredness. Yeah. Yeah. Clean this thing up and bet you can do whatever you like you could before, but now you'll travel lighter through it. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. I wish you could hear all this. It's chiming and the water running, and there's a wind here. I have a wall of ivy. I over there. And they all jiggle different, yeah? Thousands of leaves, the same wind, but their movements are all different. What artistic value is that? Yeah? It could have just all of them moved the same time, the same way, but no, never does it. Sometimes you look at nothing's blowing and there's one leaf going like this. And you're wondering, what the fuck is that happening? But something is doing like a maelstrom. Yeah. There's this cactus, only blooms here every few years. It comes out, you can miss it because it's gone in a day or two. Huge, like a huge fucking white trumpet with a flower inside the flower. It's just mind-boggling. How long it lasts? Like a day and a half. I didn't get an email that it was coming. Text, no, just showed up. Luckily, I was walking around, not up the ass of self, and I was looking at things, and I saw it. Yeah. How much have you seemingly missed by just walking around up there? Yeah. In that little porno theater. Watching coming attractions that aren't that attractive. uh, well, I'm speaking from something has relieved me of things. That's it. Yeah. There's other forms of speaking that you wish you would get relief. That ain't this. I'm not speaking looking to get relief through the speaking. I'm hoping the speaking expresses relief. Yeah. I'm not looking to get clearer. I'm not. It's all a shift of interest, and you cannot produce it. Yeah. You'll be the expression of it. Yeah. And you'll even observe it, but you will not produce it. Yeah. Yeah. That huge chunk of interest calling you're the producer will drop off like a big slough of skin. You may not even notice it. Yeah. And then after a while, all that stuff on the surface that was demanding so much moisturizer and shit. It's new, yeah, flexible, floating around. I really want to do something, but I see this other person wants to do something. So let's do what they want to do. Yeah. Is it going to kill me? No. And where is all those things that I thought were so valuable to do? I don't see any of them right now. They're all gone, as everything else is. Yeah. Does it look like I went in the water today? Probably not. How could you tell? I can't tell if I did or not. Yeah. Here I am. When all of these things are added up to it, they added nothing. They're a zero. As if I'm a cliff that they fall off. Yeah. Wow. Wouldn't you love to pay attention to the cliff than all the things that fall off it? Yeah. Yeah. Or like all the movies. Yeah, you watch them, but you attend to the screen. Yeah. Yeah. You're present for the situation, but there's a sense of presence in this present situation. Yeah. So you show up, but in one sense, you're not all there. You're just not. There's like, you're reserved for something. Yeah. Yeah. All right. We have someone ask a question. Sally. Who else? Anyone else? Sally, come on in.
We first we had David down under, but I think he might have changed his mind. He looks like he's very relaxed. I don't think he has a question.
I
But
don't see any virtual hands.
Sally does.
All right.
Sally's on the
Yeah,
phone.
I apologize. I didn't know. I looked on your site today to see where if there was a format that explained how you run this. So I'm not quite sure if I'm following your protocol, but so I, being super new to your whole, but not new to these concepts, I sit and I think about, for me anyway, that even the current dream that I'm creating, like the one that says, I'm not creating this dream and my brain is just at the service of this host, is still a dream, it's still a construct, and I can't control or predict when the amount of pleasure that that one just happens to be delivering to me right now starts to not necessarily work. Like it's only in hindsight, which I like step 10 for that, but regardless of that, but I'm just saying, I still have a lot of humility that I don't even get to know when that my current construct isn't gonna work anymore. It's only after the fact that
Well, remember, honey, keep it simple. Just take today. Don't worry about.
Sure, but I mean,
current-
how do you view that? Like the fact that it's still a construct, everything that we even think. It's still
But
made up
so
construct.
what? It just, the meaning to the construct is coming from you. The construct has no meaning, remember? So why not, you can have a different meaning than its only construct. It could be a great opportunity for expression. Yeah? Yeah. The
Well,
construct has
Does
no
it just
meaning.
not matter then, as long as it's not creating pain?
Yeah? Of
Does
course
it just
it
not
matters.
really matter as long as it's not creating
Sure it
consequences?
matters. No, because how are you to judge if it's not, it may be causing pain to someone else? When I was out there using, I completely believed I had no effect on others.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I mean, I appreciate that. I mean, let's say I actually get feedback and have people tell me that I'm reasonably not creating consequences. But so I'm saying, does the nuances of my construct, since it's just made up anyway, is that, are you saying it doesn't really matter as long as the habit of me today can get along just fine?
I don't know what you mean that it doesn't matter.
I guess what I'm saying is even the construct that we think we're evolving into is still a construct. It's still kind of made up.
Well, what's saying that is part of the construct. So it goes ad infinitum. So
Right, exactly.
part of this construct is sort of wondering it's all just a construct. But yeah, Yeah, so that's just ad infinitum. Yeah. So now the construct is bummed out that it's all there is a construct. Yeah,
No, no, what if it's fine with it? I'm not bummed.
then
It's not
that's
bummed
fine.
out.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
it's fine. But if
It's
you're
totally fine.
using and the using has gone to a certain point that it blots out almost everything else, then you better pay attention to that, construct or no.
Yeah, I'm just speaking in a perfect, happy person dream that we're all just, have a perfect experience on the planet. I'm not talking about using or not. I'm just saying once you're in a very peaceful, non-consequential space, I have to get humble enough to know it's still a made up. It's just a better habit than the
We'll
other
get
one.
there first before you have to be humbled and make it up. Or it's made up, yeah? Yeah. You may have no interest in doing anything, but just enjoying the relief. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I have relief from a construct, I lose interest in the process or the ideas of construct. I just enjoy the relief. Yeah.
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 I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that. Like there's this, one of the things being new to your group is this reflection that I'm hearing about people talking about gurus and following people and other groups and not listening to what works or doesn't work for ourselves. And I think some of that is because there isn't a freedom just to follow some peace. Like there always has to be some striving for some growth into something better. And I'm like, I guess I'm refreshed to hear that. I'm like, once you get some peace, can't that just be fine? Like
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yes, definitely. Yes. It's a disarming thing. I found most of my noble pursuits were trying to get out of discontent and dissatisfaction. So when the basis, which is the important thing that recovery talks about, you're going to be living from a new basis, a new attitude and a new outlook. Well, a lot of the things that I thought had so much importance didn't. What they were disguising was the importance as a action figure to be content and satisfied. Yeah. So I stopped looking for things I thought were going to lead me to contentment and satisfaction. And that was actually the contentment and satisfaction. Yeah. So the idea of the real liberation is from the need to be liberated. Yeah. Yeah. So you're fine with how things look. I don't see this as a stepping stone to something greater and bigger. Yeah. I don't. I'm just here and yeah, everything else is improv, really. I'm just here and then things happen. Yeah. But thank God as an action figure, this action figure is in the habit of being sober. The action figure is in the habit of being sober. I may have problems every day, but that problem I don't have, or it doesn't have me. Now that has been one of the greatest influence on the action figure. The action figure doesn't understand constructs or shit like that. It understands I'm going to be moved if I'm irritable, anxious, and uncomfortable, and I may rest if I'm content and satisfied. And it doesn't seem like the jockey that's riding me can produce that effect. So let's see what happens and have a new jockey jump on. And so what I needed was a way of life, and I was given it. And I've lived it for a long time, and it's given me a very rich life as a gift from this way of life. And so, yeah. But I understand the head would love to understand the head, but it can't really. You have to see the head outside the head. The head trying to see the head and everything is just more head, really. But when you see it outside, you just lose interest in stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And then, yeah. And here we are, Sally. And tomorrow I'll be here for a recovery meeting. Hopefully nothing happens, and so on and so forth.
No, like you just articulated what I don't know how to articulate, but that's how I'm experiencing the world.
Oh, great.
And
Great.
so sometimes like I told you, I have felt crazy because I haven't found anyone other than like finding this group and you guys talk about this is like mind blowing to me
Well,
because,
there you go.
so it's kind of exciting because I've just
That's
thought
great.
a little nuts. So.
Exactly. Yeah. You see, like the Stone said, I disagree with him. You can't always get what you want. You know, this happens a lot. Yeah. You have no idea, something's there moving slowly, and then suddenly the exact answer you needed gets shown outside or whatever. And I think that leaves a mark. I know it has with me. I've been touched by so many impressions, they have become lasting in a way. And yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is yeah. Yeah. If you go to Northern California, we have like a dark green. And then you go to East Coast, it's a lighter green. We also have a taller dark green, and the East Coast is a lighter. In the East Coast, they're called woods, and out here they're forests. Yeah. And but the beauty is they all have their own beauty. So nothing has beauty, you know, and it's not the premium beauty, everything. Yeah. And I really humbly believe it's in the eye of the beholder, so to speak. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So we went away a few days, and now my cat, Fatso, and it isn't fat, it's just we call it Fatso, doesn't its life is it only has two sources of affection, which is Amelia and I. It's not that friendly with people. It's not unfriendly, it's just afraid. So, I mean, I've looked at a lot of loving people, and I'm telling you, this cat can transmit love like incredibly. Really. I mean, looking in her eyes, it gets scary. I'm like fucking wanting to go enter a cat world or something. It's like it's amazing. Yeah, so people are communicating and doing all this stuff. And animals are communicating. Yeah, it's awesome. So, all right, Sally, thank you. I'm happy you're with us, and I hope we'll get a lot from you, and hopefully you'll get some stuff from us. Yeah, that's how it works. You know, this is a dynamic I love about recovery, that at any moment I need to carry the message and someone else needs to hear the message. And then the next moment I need to hear the message and someone needs to carry the message. It's a very symbiotic event, recovery. Yeah. 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 Cool. Very cool. All right.
Paul, we have Oksana with her virtual hand raised.
Oksana. Wow. All right.
Oksana.
Hi, Paul. Hi, everyone. It's my first meeting. I'm from Sydney, Australia. Just joined you guys.
Oh, Oksana, nice to meet you.
Thank you. Paul, something that's been in my mind is, as I try to listen to this message, one thing keeps popping up, and that is, if it's all mechanical, and if stuff happens because it happens and there's no reason, this consciousness just does what it does. What I don't understand is, then why does evil exist? Why do people do horrible things to people? Why would this intelligent consciousness wants to use particular body and mind to experience horrible things? I hope you can comment on that.
I don't know. You may have to wait for after the show to get that. Yeah. while you're in the show, you may not be privy to that. Yeah, maybe you'll be informed maybe after the show. And I don't believe evil exists. I believe we are existence, and we're experiencing a dreaming where things appear to exist, but they only appear to exist to that which is existing, which is us. Yeah, I don't believe there is something called evil, or it's just energy, and the energy, how it's, wow. Yeah. So that's my feeling. And, the action figure has a very limited level of comprehending, and a lot of it's on the need to know basis, I feel. Yeah. And a lot of stuff we're not on that, it's above our pay scale, so to speak. Yeah. So I never think that way. I don't see it. But I believe a lot of winds blow in this dreaming, and they blow through the sails of people. Yeah. And there may be a lot of greed, but I don't think there's a person that's greedy. But I believe a lot of people are used to express greed. Yeah. Yeah. And the same thing with whatever. If the mind, the mental activity is obsessed with itself, yes? And so it amplifies stuff. And if what it amplifies starts to mutate, and mutations take forms, and I feel a lot of behaviors that are are examples of an extreme growth, almost like a fungus growing, and then it shoots out an arm that's really weird looking or something. Yeah, I would say that's what's happening in the dreaming. Yeah. Yeah. So the head, involved with the head, involved with the head, involved with the head, it's just getting weirder and mutated. Yeah. It's mutating, so to speak. You know how something in a chaotic way progresses in mutation. I would say the dreaming is mutating. So expressions are getting wilder or more severe or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. I just see that there isn't a person that's doing it or being done to by it. And it's not all mechanical. The mechanicalness is noticed by the existence, which isn't mechanical. Yeah. But the mechanicalness has been taken to be something that's voluntary and has a derived cause, and it's just an effect. I don't believe that. Yeah. 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 So that's how I see it. I see it that this is an event of dreaming, or you could call it mind in stillness manifesting into movement. And as the Course in Miracles says, mind projects, and then in this event, as the dreamt, we're perceiving. Yeah. And we're perceiving a lot of false things as appearing to be true. Yeah. And the appearance of evil will be forgotten in many people's beds tonight. Yes, they're going to go to sleep. They're going to go to another state of sleep, that there's nothing there existing. Yeah. And to me, that's the essence of the reality. Now, the mental head, I think, is spinning out for sure and mutating. And yeah, look at what happened when they first, years and years ago, they had 5 mental illnesses. Now they have like 500 of them. Yeah. So name and form keeps being given, and then more shit grows and more name and form, and it just extends that way. Yeah. If you're going to have an effect, it's probably going to be in a small pond, the pond that you're in. Yes. Yeah. So that's what I'm more concerned about. Yeah. I hope that doesn't help, but there you go.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, this is not meant to be logical and comprehensible. Yeah. Because why do we call things that are miraculous paradoxical? Because we're seeing everything from a failed system, a very, very failed thought system that can't grok shit, can't understand stuff. Yeah. And, but it keeps believing it could, and there's ceilings that it doesn't go past. Yeah. And a lot of this thing is incomprehensible, unknowable, and it's going to stay that way. Yeah. So why not comprehend what you can comprehend, which is the mental activity of claiming and replacing the act of living with an interpretation of a life. Yeah. I think that has much more value. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Thank. Yeah. You're not going to have an answer because you can't answer a dream. In a dream, everything and anything can happen. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anyone else? But welcome. It's nice to see you. Yeah.
Thank you, Oksana. Thank you, Sally. David, are you sure?
Now leave David alone. He's happy.
Okay, he's
Yeah,
happy.
leave him alone. Yeah.
We
Okay.
don't have any other.
I don't want him to get another iron filing in his eye or a piece of metal. Yeah.
So can I don't know how you do this,
Need
but
any further understanding at the moment.
so
I
I'm
think
dying.
Sally has another comment for
Oh,
you.
Yeah, I'm-
Sally. All right.
I'm dying to comment on the evil, non-evil, because I'm a geologist, and having concept of geological time has helped my brain so much to understand, like, the dinosaurs didn't think it was evil when an asteroid hit the earth. You know, like, that just comes from labeling. And my brain had to label everything because it has no freaking idea. The body doesn't know how to do anything. As a survival mechanism, it has to start labeling so it doesn't suffocate and die. So, like, the dinosaurs didn't know it was evil or good or bad. So I just find that if I change my scale of thinking into geological time,
Yeah.
lots clears up in my head, because I become so irrelevant. I'd become a little amoeba with a nervous system, and then I just stack on top myself, and it makes so much more sense to me anyway.
There you go. So, yeah. We may all be rocks dreaming that we're something else. Who knows? I could be a small piece of granite.
I'm quartz.
Who? Who's next?
I'm quartz.
Oh, quartz. Oh, you're quartz. Yeah, yeah. Quartz. Yeah. I like limestone actually quite a lot. Yeah. There's nothing like a limestone. You ever go to a place called Cappadocia in Turkey?
I haven't been there. No,
They did a
I've been to
movie.
Turkey.
They did one of the bars of a Star Wars movie was shot there. Well, Cappadocia has all this limestone, and they carve it out and they live in them. Yeah, and they have these chimneys that go up. They call them fairy chimneys. They go up into a point, and then there's this like round little thing at near the point, which is a different rock. So it didn't get affected by the weather as much. And then they carve them out and they have little lights in there, and they live in these fairy chimneys. Yeah, and you get to sleep in these caves that have been carved out of these things. They're really cool. So, yeah. So I didn't know I was actually sleeping with myself in that limestone cave.
Hey,
That's wow.
Paul, is limestone heavy?
Eh?
Is limestone heavy?
I don't think it's heavy because you can carve it. I think it's
Oh.
the limestone you can carve. The geologist can tell me, but you can carve it out. It's pretty cool.
Well, I had a friend in AA whose mother used to tell him that he was like a limestone around her neck. He didn't know what it meant.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she was looking to take that limestone off. It was heavy. Yeah. All right. Well, anyone else? No? Oh, all right. Well, what time is it today?
10:57.
10:57. Oh, it's in the East Coast.
Yep.
It's only 8:57. Yeah. All right. Let me start saying goodbye. Oksana, thank you for the questionnaire, and I love that name. Kathleen, as always. Kerry or Query. I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna call him. I like Query. Query's pretty good. We got Eric. Nice to see you, Eric. Yes. Terry from Camarillo. I was just down there. We were just in Los Osos near San Luis Obispo. David, nice to see you, brother. Down under. Lindy. Clear skies. Yes. Eric P. Mike Clark. Nice to see you, Mike. Saraswati. Terry Bowling. Sabina. Nice to see you, Sabina. James Olson. Yes. We got Sally, William Stamps, Dennis W. I see a hand, Dennis. Thank you. Everett. There he is, Everett. I hope all's going well. Yeah. Chris. Alan Olson. Sabina. How did I get two of them? I had a different name. There's Sabina and whatever. Nice to see you, Sabina. Phone number, Mike M. Amelia. Oh, very nice. Hey, thanks. Had a nice night. Yeah.
Very nice night, Paul. Thank you so much.
Come back at this. The point of this is just to quickly summarize. Without me knowing it, there was a mental activity that had claimed the conscious contact. So the existence in contact, let's call it conscious contact, triggered an action in the mental, the brain state, in time, that whatever action happened, it would claim the action to imply that there was an actor. Yeah. There was someone that was done to or was doing it. And basically, my aware life started after that. So I had no idea about what was going on. It was just that was going on. I wasn't looking at, every foundation of every house I looked at. I thought, oh, there's the house, but there it was. And then through a lot of distress, through obsession with this idea of Paul, and then leading to trying to get relief with drugs and alcohol and everything else, and going on, to me, the most valuable retreats I ever were on were the 10-day cocaine retreats. They were the most, the only thing you had to do is you had to survive them, which I did. I didn't die. And there was so much revealed about what I'm not in those nights. But what happened was the suspicion grew after I moved from drug addiction into spirituality. And I saw the movement of addiction in that. Yeah. And then I was introduced to this message under the banner of non-duality. And when it described that which was before where I started, I had an intimation of it. Yeah. And I saw it, so to speak. and the shoes fit and I wore it, and more became revealed, just walking around. And then the mechanicalness of it all became obvious in addiction, because that which was trying to get out of something and it always failed, never realized it failed. It just would keep trying to get out of something. Yeah. So we call it self can't get out of self, but self's never going to stop trying. So I figured, wait a minute, that doesn't look like a personal event. That looks like a mechanical event. Yeah. And so on and so forth. And there was a lot of freedom or relief from being the doer of a lot of actions, because I saw those actions were more compelled or driven than they ever were chosen or decided. Yeah. Yeah. So I started to realize I'm not the driver, I'm the driven in this event. Yeah. And it looks like I only have two options in this life, because I'm going to be driven no matter what. And I can either be driven by having faith in finite self, or driven by having faith in the infinite. Yeah. And thank God a decision was made on my ass, and I was turned and directed to trusting the infinite. Yeah. And let the chips fall where they may. And so all I do is read the tea leaves. I don't make the tea leaves. I don't put tea leaves into positions. I just see how the tea leaves fall, report back. Yeah. And yeah, there you go. To me, as Ramana said, the most important value of any question is to ask, who is it that's asking the question? Yeah. The real value in any question is to be used to ask, who is it that's asking the question? Yeah. And we hope that we try to stay with that in this platform. Yeah. So he used the example of people always asking about, is there free will or predetermination? And then he answered, he says, well, if there's a sense of individuality, there'll be a sense of free will. Now, I hope that triggers the same amount of avalanche as it does with me, because it's quite comprehensive, that statement. So, because the people that were asking that question about free will were asking it from a sense of individuality. Yeah. Yeah. So he said, then after the answer that, he said, really, the only value in all these questions is to be used to who's asking the question. Yeah, isn't that incredible? So no matter what topic, no matter how captivating or alluring or attractive to have us go that way, you just look back. Yeah. And who is it that's attracted to that question? Yeah. Just to check it out, see what happens. Yeah. It's beautiful, isn't it? Because you know how you can. I used to go to this guy I liked when he gave the talk, and then he'd have questions. And usually the first question was about relationships. And then the horses just left the barn. Yeah. They just went out running. Then the second and third and fourth people that got up, it was all about relationship. And the feeling when it was just the satsang, and then the question and answers was such a contrast. Yeah. That it made me an impression on me. Yeah. And we just hope to keep the topic centered in the sense of, is there truly a long-lasting, independent, separate entity? Is there a doer and then doing, or is there a doing without a doer? Yeah, and just harp on that. All right. So I think I've said goodbye. Thank you, everyone. And such a pleasure to be here. And I hope to see all of you again.